The candidates drew numbers to determine their opening statements.
Could you close the doors, please? Thank you.
Ms. Van Auken has decided not to run. However, she is still on the ballot, as she made that decision after the time that she could have her name removed off the ballot, so she still remains a candidate. She declined our invitation to participate tonight, so our president, Jane Wander, is going to open with a written statement from Ms. Van Auken. Then we will do the opening statements for the school board, starting with Mr. Gary Loustale, followed by Kathleen Kaiser and Eileen Robinson, and then we will take questions from the audience. Thank you.
Thank you. This was addressed from Ms. Van Auken to Rose Kelly, who was the coordinator for tonight to get all the candidates here. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this important election. Most importantly, thank you for continuing to include the candidates for the Chico Unified Governing Board. Although I am not participating this evening, my name will still be on the ballot. Continue to question the candidates and choose wisely. Thank you, Cynthia Van Auken.
Thank you. Mr. Loustale?
Thank you. My name is Gary Loustale. I'm running for Chico Unified School Board. As a businessman and educator, and a father of 3 grown children, I bring many years of experience, or would bring many years of experience, to the school board. For the past 32 years, I have worked in the information technology field. I was an owner-operator of a computer services business, and for over 20 years, and that was for over 20 years. In the past 12 years, I have worked for Butte County Office of Education as a career tech educator and advisor. My experience has led to implement business partnerships with high schools, as well as create college pathways for students. My volunteer work in the community includes chairman of the Measure E Committee, president of Chico Westside Little League, and a past president of Ishi Toastmasters. Common Core state standards emphasize both college and career readiness. My experiences have helped prepare to work with students in the district and implement streamlined Common Core. As a school board member, I will bring the understanding that educational needs are many and diverse, and I bring an open mind and seek creative solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Kathleen Kaiser. I'm currently in my 2nd term on the Chico Unified School Board and my 2nd time as president. Prior to this office, I served 2 years as the governor's appointed faculty trustee to the California State University Board. I've been a faculty member at Chico State since 1972. I probably educated your children. And I currently serve as the academic statewide senator for Chico State. In that role, I serve with admissions, so I look at all the standards that we expect of entering freshmen and transfer students from the community college, and the academic expectations that we hold for what it means to become a qualified college-ready student. In my professional statewide positions, my role interacts very nicely with the school board. I also have responsibility for teacher ed. On a personal note, I have grandchildren currently in Chico Unified, they're right out there, or are recent graduates. So this is very up close and personal to me, that our kids are getting a good education. The teacher, staff, and the administration at Chico Unified are incredibly committed to student success. The awards, the recognitions, and the new resources that we've been able to bring to Chico have literally put us on the national map with exceptional schools and national award-winning teachers. So why should I run again? I think that's a really legitimate question. My family asked me that. We started the process of building a master plan for the district, and as the voters, you gave us $78 million to engage in that process, to restore and revision what education might mean in Chico. We know we have to change for the Common Core, for our student body. We're moving to middle schools, we're building new facilities, and we're restoring our current facilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to the League for putting on this function this evening. Being a school board member the past 4 years has been a labor of love, continuing 42 years of service to Chico Unified. I have advocated for increased academic rigor, student physical and emotional health, expanding career and technical education, science, technology, engineering, math, music and the arts, as well as increased coordination of special education programs with general education classes. Providing the best educational opportunities for all students is the #1 goal of Chico Unified, and I support that goal. Implementation of the Common Core state standards has moved into high gear with the start of the 2014-15 school year. Students not only need to understand the who and the what, but also the why of information if they are to flourish in this global society. State funds now come to us in the form of a local control funding formula, with the requirement that the school community develop a local control accountability plan. This process has given parents, staff, and community a greater voice in how resources can best be used to support our students. I worked with those groups to bring the LCAP to the full board for approval. Work toward building a stronger partnership with our employee groups is ongoing, and many challenges await us, and I look forward to facing them all. Thank you.
Thank you. We want to have an opportunity for some questions, and we will start off with the Chico News and Review. Tom Gascoigne.
Yeah, I was wondering if you know who's winning the Giants-Dodgers game. First of all, what is your take on charter schools? Do they help or hurt public schools? And I'm not sure who I
We will go in alphabetical order, starting with Ms. Kaiser.
I just came back from the California STEM conference in San Diego, and one of the young teachers there was a charter school teacher, brand new her first year, tiny little school. And the other person at the table is known as the rapping mathematician. He's very famous. The context of this is, I asked him why he was wearing a wedding ring, and he was like, what? I said, that's the best charter school. When it's deeply wedded to its community, then it thrives, the community's invested, and they support it. We have several of those, and they glow. When it's a postage stamp on a place, it's not very good, and I don't think the kids get what they deserve.
Thank you. Mr. Loustale.
We do. We have some very good charter schools here in Chico, and some charter schools that are building new buildings and have been here for a long time, and they fit a need for children who attend them and parents who want that option. So for some people out there, I believe charter schools are good. They've done a great job. The question was, do they harm or hurt? And I think in some cases, if we have a charter school that does not do well, it can hurt. So all in all is, yes, they can help a community, and they do fit a need for those who want to invest in them.
Thank you. On the issue of charters, I consider them an indicator that there's a need that's not being met in the view of parents. And I think it's very important that parents support whatever educational program their students are involved with. Having said that, I also take the responsibility of oversight of the charters very seriously, which it is the responsibility of the Chico Unified School District Board to do. What we need to do is to make sure that we are watching the successes of charter schools, and if we can learn from them and implement some of those same practices in Chico Unified, that benefits students that remain in Chico Unified Schools, as well as our support for charter schools. And we do have a very cooperative, strong relationship with our charters.
Thank you, Mr. Elworth.
The CUSD's facilities master plan goes decades into the future, and the projected costs run much, much higher than that $78 million. How is that going to be worked out?
Mr. Loustale will start.
Need some more money if you do simple math there, Roger. You know, that's a good question, but I'll tell you one thing that's happened with that list. You know, the voters supported Measure E last election. It won, and one of the things that happened was an architects were hired, and they made a big list, and it showed in that list that we have great needs, and like you said, way into the future. So it's going to take some time, but at least now we have a plan, whereas before we did not have a plan. There's a plan now listing what things need to be done, and the governing board can now look at that and decide in what order they're going to plan and make those changes. So in my opinion, it was the type of thing that we needed that plan in order to go forward, and the needs are great.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson.
Thank you. Yes, the needs have been identified far beyond what the bond can raise. And some of the needs that were identified that the board has approved to take a look at are things that I don't think can wait 25 years, especially the improvements at our elementary schools that haven't been touched in so many years. The good news is what we have been able to do in the way of bond sales is allowing us to move into the middle school arena and take the housing numbers out of our elementary schools into the middle schools within the next 2 to 3 years. What happens after that, I think it needs to be revisited. There needs to be a real accounting for whether or not we want to wait 20 years to do some of the improvements. And it will, in fact, be out there 10 to 20 years before the implementation can proceed.
Well, I almost laughed that you gave that to Gary to start, but the context of this is the $78 million is actually only available to us in increments because it depends on the community. And the community is growing. All you have to do is drive down any street in Chico and see the new housing, and that new housing means new school kids. But the other side of the picture is Chico High had not had a new building in 60 years before I came on the board. That building is going to go on the National Register of Outstanding Buildings. It's the only high school building in the nation that's currently getting that recognition. So what we do, we want to do well. We want to do it in a structured way that addresses all of our kids. And we want to have a sense that when we spend a dollar, if there's any chance to get money back, we do, and we have excelled at that. Our buildings are sustainable, energy efficient, and we get money back from the state. Thank you.
Thank you. From the audience. Given that the State Board of Education mandates arts education in public schools and that the arts are a major component of state Common Core standards, what are your ideas for improving the situation at Chico Unified Schools as far as art education is concerned? And Ms. Robinson can start, please.
Yes, thank you. Improving the program through coordination and through taking our very, very talented teachers and providing more time at the elementary level, especially so that the arts programs benefit at the junior high level and the senior high level. We have tremendous facilities available once the kids get out of elementary school. One of the impacts of the bonds not being available is the arts facilities at our elementary schools will not accommodate some of the programs that we would like to see going on, and that's a shame. but with support from the Community Arts for All program and other community supports for our arts in schools, it is going to flourish. And if we can get fiscal financial support, we can put facilities in place that will enhance it.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser.
Well, Chico's in the top 100 arts community. Our district has a performing arts center that most cities don't have, located at the PV High School site. Our choir at Chico High just got invited to perform in the National Youth Choir at Carnegie Hall. Please take out money and donate it to them so they can go. But in effect, we are doing a phenomenal job under the severe constraints that the state put us in. When you limit the money and you increase class sizes, it's very, very difficult to do the arts. I praise our teachers who are committed to the arts and our community who has supported that. My own kid went as a performer in the Chico Marsh Choir and then in the Chico Children's Choir and performed at Carnegie Hall. It's incredible that from one town we have this much talent. We should let it shine.
Yeah, I agree with both the ladies. The arts are just part of ensuring that we educate the whole child. Our community is very strong in the arts, and you see it all over the place. We have had a chance to have strong bands and strong choirs and just a very good facilities all the way from the elementary schools on up. So I would continue to want to support the arts, to look everywhere we possibly could to ensure that that type of education is something that our students receive and that we can offer it to them. Thank you.
Thank you. This question comes from the audience as well. Local control has been restored to the school districts. What are the pros and cons of this change? Starting with Ms. Kaiser.
Local control is a philosophical idea, but I think it has a lot of resonance in this community. It says you start with your community's needs, and your community tells you how to spend the funds. We've done a very good job of that. We had Hmong translators, Spanish translators. We paid for childcare. We gave the families free dinners. We did everything we could to see that every member of our community would participate in that planning. That said, the state then says, prove it. And I think that's the real kicker here. We know how our community wants us to spend the money. We know how much money we have. It's not enough, but we have to make it make a difference. And that's what we're on the track to do. And this next year, that would be the proof. Were we successful or not?
Thank you. Mr. Loustale?
Yes, I had the opportunity to attend some of the LCAP meetings in our community, and I was very impressed by the method that the school district and the school board handled them. They did an excellent job of seeing to it that people had the chance to express what they wanted to see in our schools with the LCAP coming forward. One of the questions there was, what are some of the maybe disadvantages? And so I'll hit that just a little bit. I think it's new chartered territory. So that means that we have to go forward on something that we haven't done before. We haven't experienced it. And so we need to look and see and review each year to find out, which is what LCAP wants us to do. They want us to review, make sure we're on the right track. So that is going to be a very important element to ensure that we go straight on that line.
I was very glad to see the legislation that brought the local control funding formula to our plate. And I too participated in the process and was just so impressed with the community's understanding of what their schools, their kids needed. Coupled with the partnership of staff that also participated with the parents in these meetings, I think that our plan is a good solid one. I'm looking forward to seeing if the implementation strategies that have been developed prove useful and productive, and we will reassess next year, which is also part of the plan. I don't see a downside. I support it. I think the community's investment in it is the important part, and I look forward to continuing to work with the community to make it successful.
Thank you, and we will have one last question. This question is, what is the CUSD process to guarantee that all children in the district have equal access to all educational choices, such as Spanish immersion programs, et cetera? And this goes to Mr. Loustale first.
I believe that that's probably one of the strong qualities that Chico Unified has, is that they have an open system where you can choose and go to the different schools, the different types of schools, such as Spanish immersion, that allow you the best learning for your child. And that's been a policy that I would endorse, that they have implemented. And that way, you can choose and you can find a school that works best for you. And it's a great thing. And I think that's what makes our school district one of the best around, is that there are different programs that parents can choose for their children, and then they can go there.
Thank you. Ms. Robinson?
Yes, I agree totally that the choice for selecting the program that you believe would be best for your children is expanding, actually, in Chico Unified, with the increase of support for our STEM program, for example, at Parkview. This is a benefit of being partners with our university. We have just an amazing amount of support for different types of programs, and our parents' ability to select a school and attend is one of the things that I do support, and I think our open enrollment policy is what's kept us a district-wide charter school, actually, because of the selection process.
Well, we have 4 elementary schools that are in effect specialized. We have Hooker Oak, open classrooms. We have Parkview, the STEM elementary school, the only one between Sacramento and Oregon. We have the Rosedale, which is Spanish immersion, and we have Sierra View, which most people don't think about, but it's actually a very selective, high-focused math instruction. So the students are having choice. We have Inspire, which is an in-district charter, the arts and science, and they had a 99% graduation rate in their first year as a high school. That's unheard of in the state of California. So I think students and parents are making choices. They are looking to utilize their gifts. And what we have to do as a board and as staff is to continue to enrich that potential, that they'll find their way. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now take a 2-minute closing statement from each of you, starting with Ms. Robinson, followed by Ms. Kaiser, and ending with Mr. Loustale.
Thank you. My closing words this evening are not about me, but about the Chico community and its support over the years for our youth. Since I became a parent and activist in Chico schools in 1972, Chico has passed 3 school bond measures, raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for school supplies, local field trips, academic competitions, band days, choral competitions, and kept alive an amazing sports program. They have sent students to Europe, Washington, D.C., Africa, and this year are working to raise $100,000, yes, bring your checks forward, to send our Chico High choral students to Carnegie Hall in New York City. Each year, local employers hire our students and help them gain valuable experience in how to be a good employee. They support our career and technical programs, our ag program, and many others. Without this support, these activities would not be available to our students. The state does not fund anything outside of the classroom. So to everyone in the community, I say thank you for all you do for the students of Chico. It has been my pleasure to know you and to be of service, and I hope to continue in that role. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kaiser.
Well, the statement that we're a shining light on the hill hasn't been true about education in California for a while. Much of that's driven by a negative state budget, by a failure to recognize the changing expectations in educational skills and needs, and also our changing student body. However, we as a district, I think, have worked extremely hard, everyone, to make it through and to try in every possible way to increase our expectations. So I'll just repeat a conversation I had last night. I was sitting next to the Chico High National Chemistry Teacher of the Year, Janelle Ball, and I asked her, why did you stop in your PhD and just stay, quote unquote, teaching at Chico High? And her answer was, because she loves it. Because she loves the challenge of each new group of students coming her way and what she can do to inspire them to love the learning, in this case of chemistry. It's a very powerful statement to have someone with that kind of recognition choosing to stay in our high school. I would hope that our students get that kind of inspiration every single day from a teacher, a principal, or a staff member that they interact with. And certainly as a board member, I feel like it's my job to try to see that Chico lives up to its very best. And that's going to take the best from all of us, because we don't have the money that we need, but I think we have the inspiration and the dedication. So I thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Loustale will have the last word tonight.
Chico it's a great place to live, and I've lived here for more than 30 years. And one of the reasons that I am running for governing board is because we have so many different schools, and they are anchors to our community. And it is a great privilege to have the possibility of serving on the board to ensure that those schools continue to grow and get better and better, so that we could not necessarily look at our children as products, but look at them as living children that go on to other communities or stay in our community, and the people know that they came from Chico. And so it would be a great privilege for me to continue with these two ladies who have put in a lot of time, and they've put in during a period where budget has been terrible and they've had to cut. Maybe now we see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and we can take that opportunity to move forward for Chico and the great schools that it has, the opportunity to make them a place where everybody is proud to be. So I would encourage you to vote for me and for these ladies come election day. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we give our candidates a round of applause?
Thank you. I was too nervous.
Our next forum will be for Chico City Council. We'll take about a 10-minute break, and we will hope to get that one on around 8 o'clock. If you have questions, make sure you write them down.